Good morning, everyone. I'm calling to order the ad hoc Harwichport Parking Committee meeting. For your information, the recording and tape notification as required by law, the town may audio or video record this meeting. Any person intending to either audio or tape record this open session is required to inform the chair. That's me. We're going to go over old business if we have any, but before we do that, I'd like the committee to introduce themselves to you all, starting on my right.
I'm Charlene Greenhalgh, the town planner.
I'm Cindy Williams, Executive Director of the Harwich Chamber.
Alexander Donahue, Chairman.
John Mahan.
Mike Ulrich.
Sorry.
When we do eventually open it up to speakers, I'd like the person or persons who come up to please seat themselves over here and introduce yourselves when you do come up, okay? So, anyway, getting along with our, the old business is our old, the minutes of last meeting.
I have a motion to accept.
Second? Okay. All right, now we're going to get into
But you
the,
have to
gotta
vote.
oh yeah, may we have a, how many in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we're going to get into the employee parking with regard to the Harbor Master Bank Street and the number of spaces.
Can you just find that out?
I was not, but I just took a quick look on Google Earth. Without a plan drawn for that, I'm guessing we could get probably at least 50 in there.
And that's the old fire station? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, the old fire
on
station.
Bank Street.
Yeah, yeah, I drove through there myself just within the last 20 minutes, about the third time. Yeah, you're probably right,
Yeah.
we could get that many people in and many vehicles.
Yes.
Now, regarding the Harbor Master's office, is there any thought relative to marking that lot up for parking? The reason I say that is if we're able to utilize that property, it's easier to bring motor vehicles in if they know where they're going to park.
I think you'd have to, otherwise you're not gonna get the best bang for the buck. You know, you're gonna have,
Yeah.
it's gonna be chaos,
Right,
so
right.
I think you do need to have some kind of lined parking.
Okay,
It's chaotic over there now in the summer.
Oh,
People
yeah.
park there to walk the bog.
right,
It's here, there, and
Yeah.
everywhere, so.
because right now, there's about 20-some odd boats in there.
Yep.
Right.
And the boats, I think, average at about 10 feet wide. So I think a parking space is roughly, what'd you say, Mr. Mahan?
I was told this morning typically between 10 and 11.
10 by 20 is what the zoning
10 by
bylaw
20.
requires.
Okay,
You can go down to 9 by 18. I don't recommend it, but,
okay, all right.
and then a 24-foot aisle if you're backing into each other.
I think until we know when they're moving from that workshop to the new one, it's gonna be hard to line that too. Plus, we should check with conservation what they're gonna do with part of it, so we know how many we actually would get to have over there.
Are there any that are allocated to conservation?
No.
Not that I know of yet, no.
No.
I know there was talk a while ago.
It's never full. It's not like the lot's ever.
All right, with regard to that site, or the employee transportation site, you said Cape Destinations?
I did have a
Swap
brief conversation via email with the owners. I know that they are interested in joining us. I do see Mr. Kavanaugh here this morning, so I don't know if you want Jay to come up and kind of go through what we're thinking, what they would think as well.
Yes, I like to have that addressed.
Not to put you on the spot, Jay. Welcome back. But if you wanted to come up to the table with the mic, we are having this recorded. But what we had, Kavanaugh,
With a K.
we had
Is there a U?
discussed a while ago, and I think I told, briefly mentioned to you guys, we want to take the employee parking that really shouldn't be using Schoolhouse Road and then bringing it to alternate locations, shuttling the employees. So there's probably about 30 that I know of that park there, that I watch on a regular basis. So if we took that, moved it to either the old Harbor Masters building or location, or some other parking lots throughout town. We were just thinking about that. So,
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you need parking. The only way you're gonna get revenue up downtown is getting more people that wanna spend money and not people that are over there working. So, yeah, it can easily be done. There's a
Do you have any thought?
litany of how to get it done.
right. Thoughts were maybe, you've got the restaurants that, there are some that are, we had done a study of 300 square feet out of who actually is in that radius. It goes up to
300 feet.
300 feet, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Goes up to Dr. Gravity, is that where we ended it?
Yeah,
So anyone past
the
that?
pizza place is not part of that.
Anyone past that is currently using Schoolhouse Road as employee parking, we now need to educate and move them somewhere else. So, probably looking at, say, maybe 10:30 in the morning for any of the restaurants that are outside of that, to then a midnight kind of time frame for the staff. We want it to be safe for the staff as well, but realizing that we do need to make some kind of situation that works.
I mean, we do, some of the things that we do provide employee shuttles on different properties around the Cape. That kind of would fit into what you're doing in the kind of the big picture. But yeah, you just figure out what their flow of, when they shift changes are and things like that, and you just equip it for that. And, you know that there's 13 people coming on it at different businesses at 6 o'clock, so at 5:15, the bus picks up at whatever lot you're talking and drops them off, and then again at 10:30 or whatever time they're getting through work, they go back again. You don't want to run it continuously 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know what that it just costs so much money.
Right.
Question with regard to the drop-off and pickup. Given that this will probably be done in evenings when there's quite a bit of activity downtown, any thoughts regarding where the pickup or drop-off area might be most convenient for the
Right. I mean,
transportation?
if you're using it just for employees and you're not gonna allow other people to park, and you do get into a problem, because people are gonna see a bus come along and open a door, and people are gonna wanna, naturally, for whatever reason, people wanna jump on a bus and go for a ride. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, you just have to put signage on the bus that says employee shuttle, or something like that, and that's easy. It's just a vinyl thing in the windows that just says employee shuttles only. And then you would just pick up at 3 spots along 28. I mean, wherever, you guys know what businesses are gonna utilize your service.
Right.
And you just stop on the side of the road. Anybody that bids this, should have, street rights to be able to stop anywhere along the way, for up to 15 minutes. That's the way the DPU lists it. So, you can't, without street rights operating authority, you can't stop on a town way or state way,
Okay.
to charge or discharge passengers.
All right, so you need street rights on it.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, Jay, thanks for being here.
Oh, no problem.
Appreciate it.
It's something that's needed, is solving that problem in
Right.
Harwichport, because, I mean, it's growing so well and doing so well.
It is.
You hate to see it stifled because people can't get there and it gets too frustrating,
Right, yeah, that's what we're seeing.
There's been a great comeback
Yeah.
in the last 5 or 6 years, or whatever it's been, and,
Right.
it's just amazing walking down there during the summer, and it's wonderful to see.
Right, it is,
Um,
absolutely.
But now, how do you get it to grow the way you
Next-
want it to grow?
Right, the next spot, definitely. I think that would be a huge impact. We get 30 or 40 cars,
Mhm.
and I would even include a little bit further down in that, like I know that Embers, for example, they use Cross Street,
Right.
and they also use the parking lot, even though they're a little bit outside that 300, so if we could get the majority of those businesses all along that whole area from, Bank Street back,
And it mainly is the ones that are outside of that 300 that are using it. Because, I mean, like I mentioned the last time, I'm in my office by 7 a.m. every day and leave about 10 at night. So I see who it is,
Right.
and I recognize the uniforms. So I know who's using it. It's just now getting them to know that we've come up with another plan
Right.
to then help that flow better.
And then we can just work on some kind of an occupancy, I suppose, and then for pricing and that sort of thing for,
Yeah, once you have some idea, I mean, it really, it's not like finite, because
Right.
a bus is a bus, and it's either gonna be a bus that'll carry 20, that's like the smallest little bus they make, or it's 30,
right,
or up from there.
right,
So, I mean, you know, the difference between 6 and 18
right,
doesn't matter.
right, right. Good.
That's pretty easy. And then the next question you have for companies like us that we're looking at it is, who's gonna be paying for it? Are you gonna get the business owners to actually contract with the company to do it? Or are you guys gonna be working behind the scenes to, chase the funding around and all that
Right.
kind of stuff?
Right,
And again, there's many ways to do that as well.
right. Yeah, maybe
Good
something with
question.
the actual advice on that too, because if
Mhm.
you've been familiar with that, what's the best approach to take,
Yep.
on getting everybody on board,
Right.
coordinating it.
Mr. Mahan?
This question isn't directed directly to Jay, but just for clarification, are we only looking for the people outside the 300-foot radius to use the shuttle?
I think you're looking at everybody.
You're
The
looking
way
at
you
ev-
explained it,
you're
I
looking
took
at
it
ev-
as.
Yeah,
and I think
no,
Mike
you're looking
thought
at
that same
everybody, but I
thing.
know that those are the ones that are using the parking lot. So, like, I do know that Embers and Heathers are big people that use that parking lot for their employees.
What about the port and the stove?
So,
and Perks?
The
and-
well, certain ones do have in their site plan that they are allotted so many spots over there.
That's what I'm trying to get clarification
Yes.
on.
So there are people that have on their site plan that they get 4 spots, 6 spots, however, in the municipal public lot. Anyone that's not on that list that is using it are the ones that we need to reach out to first and foremost, because they're the ones that are taking those 30 spots. So, yep,
I just think one thing, I was just thinking, if we can get everybody to buy in on it.
exactly.
I mean, so that even if they have 4 or 6 spaces, let's just say, they're using it for their customers, presumably.
Right.
Not employees, so the employees, they still have to park somewhere.
Exactly.
And if we could just get everybody,
Right.
so it's not we're picking on you,
Yeah, no,
everybody's
those,
together on this,
Yeah.
as one.
yeah. No, it was just mainly, those were the ones when we were first looking at it and we had our first meeting, those were ones that I knew. And when Charlie and I first started looking at some of the parking things and what we could do and who was using it, those were the first 2 immediately. And then we did do the little plan, the list of everyone's locations and who had site plans with parking, who didn't.
Cool.
So then we could all speak intelligent to this point. But,
Is there any way to get an approximate number of employees that might be utilizing this service, just so we have a figure in mind as to what we're talking about?
so what I can do, because most of those businesses, actually all of the businesses down there are members of the chamber, so we can send out an email to everyone saying, we're in the process of working on a parking plan for the upcoming season. Can you please let me know how many employees at a given time and shift are using the Schoolhouse Road parking lot, so we can then go forward with the plan.
And we need realistic numbers.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
Yeah,
way
if
there.
it's just, how many employees do you have, they're gone, so we know they don't have parking, right? So every one of their employees has to park somewhere, some
And it-
park on Cross Street, some park
Yeah.
here, some park there, so we just knew which your employees.
And also when their shift changes are would be
Right.
very helpful.
Which I
It's
admit,
helpful
yeah.
for Jay
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
or whoever.
yep.
All right, do we have any other questions from the committee regarding transportation?
My only question, and it was mentioned earlier, was, and I had it on my notes, clarification. Right now, we are focusing on, because the question was asked of me, is that shuttle going to be open to the public? And my thought is, right now, we're focusing on,
I think right now we have to
Getting
do
employees
just
out.
do employees.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
that would be the,
I don't disagree. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming in, I
No problem.
appreciate.
That was easy.
Hey, we were easy on you, huh, Jay?
I can get back, start shoveling my desk out now. Thanks for being away. Nice seeing you all.
nice
Thanks
to be
again,
away.
thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Jay.
Jay.
All right, the financial support relative to this transportation was just brought up, just touched upon it. We had mentioned, I think, the business community being involved, and of course, we've got enough folks down there who apparently have the employees that will be utilizing this transportation and parking areas. The means by which the funds are provided, one of the suggestions I think may have been the use of signage on the transportation bus. He indicated that the bus would have a designation regarding who is physically going to be using it. Any thoughts with regard to businesses being approached to get financial support?
I think in this email too, what we should do, and this comes, it'll fall on the chamber to do this, but I think it's kind of a realistic start, is to let people know, the businesses know that we're working on this, and that the fee structure will come out of the chamber, and then we can work directly with Cape Destinations, because there's not a budget from the town's perspective for this.
Yeah.
So then, if we do it that way, maybe we even can get some businesses that want to sponsor the bus. During the summer, if you see the RTA, they've got Cape Cod Baseball League on it. So then some creative ways of getting it. But that makes the most sense, I think. What do you guys?
And I think that's why it's very important to get the realistic numbers from the businesses.
Yeah.
So then you can go back to Cape Destinations and ask them, okay, do you have an estimate on what's this gonna cost?
Right.
You can't go out and ask people to help if you don't know what the number is.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, like Jay alluded to a little bit, he said that, obviously the price would be dependent upon the numbers. So if
Sure.
you get a lot of participation in, which hopefully you would,
Mhm.
the price would then
Right.
theoretically come
Down.
Mhm.
And I think one of the plugs is that this will be safe transportation for the employees. If an employee has to walk a mile at night, then, that's not exactly great in the
It's
grand
also helping
scheme
the
of things,
businesses
so.
themselves, right? So the
Absolutely.
people, and like, again, I'm on the corner cross street, and people will park, employees will park, so they block potential clients for me, potential clients for the other two businesses that are across the street. So they are also, if they're filling up their own lot, or they're filling up even the town lot, how many people then gonna go to one of the restaurants? They're not.
Can't find a parking
No.
spot, you're moving on.
So, right, so they're gonna obviously enhance their own revenue by coming up with and going along with a solution.
Mhm.
Now, regarding the employees, as we all know, many of them use bikes. If they were to be bicycling, they could still use this lot, if we should be able to get this. Any thoughts with regard to putting a bike rack up there to
I
assist
do have a
them?
bike rack right now. It's right by the end of our building, next to the public trash container.
Okay.
And I think there's 6 slots in there for bikes, so certainly there is one there already.
But should we also be looking at putting one up at the Bank Street property?
Okay.
Oh,
So
we
instead of
could.
driving into town, they can park at Bank Street and lock up their bikes and then take the shuttle
I
in.
think there is a bike rack on Bank Street at the, you talking about the beach?
No, at the.
Oh, you mean
At
on
the-
At the
Harbormaster?
Harbor
Master.
Master.
Okay.
Why would a biker wanna do that versus parking?
I don't know.
I'm just asking the question, I'm thinking,
Me, if I was biking, I'd park far away from downtown just because it's so hectic. And if I have the opportunity to ride my bike to a safer location and then take the bus in and then get back safely to my bicycle.
I'll ask Cindy and Mike, a lot of bikers for employees, do you see?
No.
I don't.
No,
Okay.
it's more the bikers that I think that we see mostly are our J1 and our H2B visa students.
Yep.
And they're going to where they're going to work with their bicycles. So I don't think we see that many. And the bike rack that I have, it's been there for a number of years. It's maybe got 2 or 3 bicycles in it at a time.
My guess is if you're,
okay.
you're working at the stove, you're
Right.
parking, you're putting your bike behind the stove.
Yes, exactly.
Or behind Perks, or
Right.
whatever the case may
Yeah.
be.
The other thing, we're seeing a lot of scooters That's
Really?
kind of almost replacing.
With the students, yes,
Right.
that's the latest thing, and we just recently had a meeting with one of the developers for something, and the majority of those students are now renting scooters. So I think you'll see more of that happening, but again, a scooter's gonna look for a spot to put it. It's not gonna be in a bike rack, but
But the nice thing
Again-
about scooters, being a motorcycle rider, is you can fit more than one scooter in a parking
Right.
space.
But I think they're gonna be more apt to take their scooter right to the location that they work, the hotel or wherever. So, I don't think that'll even really pose too much of a challenge.
So you don't think we're gonna have to, if the scooters, as Mike has said, is increasing in usage, you think it might be worth our while to at least tentatively address it? Because as downtown, we know is going to develop. And as you've already indicated, you're gonna see more and more of these scooters down there. That's going to be an issue. And what I'm just saying is maybe getting out ahead of the curve on it. If it doesn't materialize, oh well.
Right.
But maybe getting ahead of the curve
Yeah.
on it and trying to come up with just some way of handling it.
Yeah, so if we use either the Bank Street or maybe the other one would be the elementary school or something in the summertime, maybe you have 2 spots that would say scooter parking, like you said, you can put more than one. Put
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
line
you-
them up,
Put 10 over
you know,
You
or-
go up to
Right.
Provincetown and the municipal lot up there along
Yeah.
the pier,
Right.
it's motorcycle parking and you park, in a
Right
line
along.
this way.
Right, so you
Yeah.
paint the lines a little,
Yeah.
differently, make it work, but that's a good idea, Ralph.
The other thing we had talked about, and I think the way we left it was Bank Street Beach. There was a question regarding Bank Street Beach. It didn't appear as though it was gonna be feasible. A question was asked regarding the inns on Bank Street Beach about the employees parking down there, is my understanding. Excuse me. You can tell I got a cold. The parking down there, the parkers do have beach stickers on their motor vehicles, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, they would
They'd be
have
ticketed
to.
if they did.
Yes.
Yeah, they would have
Okay.
to have.
Yeah, and that's the only way you can get to Bank Street is with the beach sticker.
Okay. We,
Park down there.
we had touched upon Earl Road. That can probably be addressed at some other point.
And I think we were talking about Bank Street more so on the Wednesday night as an
Yes.
overflow parking. So at nighttime, and we can reach out to the 3 inns that are down there to just let them know that that's what was being thought of, not during the day kind of
Right.
thing. Just to bring some of that off-site off of, some of the side streets, Cross and Pleasant, that on a Wednesday night, everyone's out enjoying it and parking, finding some place. If we had Bank Street, say at 5 o'clock, when you can then go down there and walk down or whatever, you can use that as the overflow down there.
Because what time do you guys stop?
4:30.
4:30? So, I mean, after 4:30, anybody can park down there.
Right.
But in the summer on a nice night,
Yeah.
that lot is 90% full, so
Yeah.
that's a
I
catch as
know.
catch can type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, primarily you got all these homes that are just up off of Bank Street, and they're rented, and people walk down and take the carriages and everything else. But there's a lot that will take their cars down there. So I'm not certain we're gonna see a lot of additional spaces
From Bank Street.
from Bank
I
Street.
agree.
Okay.
you know.
And we were talking about the Earl Road Beach, it wasn't so much using that as a satellite, but just letting people know Bank Street Beach is closed, Earl Road is
Another
open.
great beach is, yeah.
Yeah.
Instead
Instead of parking at the chamber lot and walking the bank, we have other options for you to kind of spread it out.
Right.
Yep.
Now that
I
this-
know you don't want people to know about that beach, because that's where you like to. As I recall from the
Good
last
memory,
meeting.
Charlene.
And we also talked about the expansion of the parking. We went beyond the harbor master's office, the old one. By the way, I refer to that as the old fire barn as well. That's
Yeah.
why I got confused last time. We talked. Everybody I know refers to the old fire barn. We talked about Sisson Road, and Mike brought up with regard to the possibility of using the middle school parking lot. Just some thoughts from you folks. Our main focus right now is getting this downtown 30 or 40 parking spaces. does anybody see where, at this moment, that Sisson Road would be brought into this equation?
I think the middle school lot is being heavily utilized by the users of the cultural center.
Okay.
Right now. The elementary school part of the parking, which is under the purview of the Monomoy, probably is not being utilized during the summer months,
Right.
like the middle school
Right.
or the cultural center is. So
Sure.
I don't think the cultural center proper area would really lend itself for that. I know that we had a brief discussion about possibly parking on the lawn area, in certain times. I know they're thinking about putting a
The
labyrinth.
outdoor labyrinth.
What did I say
Yeah,
that
no,
right?
yep.
Okay, good.
But yeah, they are
Good.
doing that.
Because I got a cold too, so I don't even know sometimes what I'm saying. But, parking on grass is great as long as it's nice and dry. If you have even a little bit of rain and you park on it, you end up ruining a lawn. And the cost to bring it back is very expensive. So I'm not a big grass parking person, unless it's built properly to withstand that.
Sure.
So,
And with Sisson, if it's employee parking we're thinking of, problem with that is you don't want employees walking from the middle school
Exactly.
because there's not a sidewalk to be found between the middle school, either on Forest or South.
right,
Whereas if they miss the bus at Bank,
Yep.
they can walk right at Bank Street.
Exactly.
And the other thing, I don't see the public using, or this isn't for the public, I don't see anybody using the middle school at this point.
Not at this point, no, I think
It's a good
this is a good
big
start.
event
Right,
overflow.
right, exactly. And then, once we get this piece out of the mix and taken care of, we're gonna see a lot of that go down, and then being able to use, the businesses, come for the restaurants, come for the shops, or whatever. But this piece is first, I think, and foremost.
Okay. The police department is on this agenda. I'd like to get it on for the next meeting.
Yep.
And have a representative get in on it. Now, Cape Destinations have already addressed the questions we had.
Mr. Chair. How long do you think it'll take to get the numbers from the merchants so we can have a better discussion with Cape Destinations?
I will work on it the rest of this week, send out the email later today to everyone. Some of them are closed, but
Oh, yeah.
I will get on it right away, and then I'll report back to you guys where we are, and then I'll get with Cape Destinations on this, just a interim kind of thing to get it going. One of the other things that was addressed, and I'm sorry that Jay, and I have addressed it with them briefly, sometimes, twice during this past summer, there was a school bus picking up people from the public lot and then going to some of our further up Cape destinations for the day. We're now suggesting, and they will now, once it's booked, you kind of can't reinvent it when you're in that time, but for future things, it will be that they use exit 10 or another location that they've arranged with the person that's renting the bus to tell their attendees, you're parking now at the Harwich Elementary School or wherever, and that's where you'll be picked up. So then that group of cars will also not be in the public lot, because that's not really what it's for. So that has been addressed already too. So I do know that was in some of the things that we've been working on. So I did want to publicly say that.
and we can't, did the new signage get put up down there?
Yes, so
Yeah.
when you come into Schoolhouse Road from 28, there's a side lot towards the TD Bank, and there is a public parking sign there. It was added this year when we changed the signs out front on 28 from municipal to public. Also at the back of Schoolhouse Road, there's another sign that says public parking. So there are 3 signs now, one for the whole schoolhouse, but then also that special extra 20-plus spots that says public parking. So it's
Does
getting.
it say for shops and restaurants?
No, it says just no.
Okay.
But that's something, and I'll need to just get with Eric to just see if we can then add that on the 28 sign, you know, that big slate, metal sign display that I have, if we can then put under the public parking, shops and restaurants, so then people know that that public parking, I mean, I know you can't say what it's specifically for, but it may help a little in the perception of what it is, I don't know.
You're
I mean,
suggesting it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it's a suggestion, you know, like when you see getting off the highway, parking, restaurants, gas stations and restrooms, this can kind of be going to the schoolhouse, is public parking, but shops and restaurants. So then, it's all gonna be in how we educate everybody. We're doing a new walking map, and on the walking map, that we do for the summer usually, we'll also have the public parking spots, like we're gonna have it definitely publicized more. So that, you know, that's our way of also helping that, okay, these are where your public parking spots are. So, I don't know if we can do that or not,
My only
but,
concern with that, and I was there this morning, and I saw the public parking signs.
Yep.
If it says public parking, it's public
It's
parking.
public.
You can't determine, if I wanna get in a bus and go to
Right.
Wellfleet,
Yep.
I don't know how you can stop that.
yeah. Well, on
That's
that,
something we really
You
need to
can't, but that's
pay.
education again.
That's education, absolutely.
and that one, that example, actually, we can help fix, because it's all in whoever is booking the buses
Sure.
through that company, whatever company they're renting.
Yep.
That they then say, okay, we're gonna pick you up at exit 10, or
Yes.
the, whatever, and then that alleviates that right there. And now going into this season, there you go, it's already, you know,
That's easy to alleviate than the beach parking.
Right.
yeah,
Beach parking,
Yep.
unless you're putting a limit on it, there's
right.
not.
And again,
yeah.
with the beach parking, like
Or
I,
you put, yeah, 3-hour parking.
and as I
Then you need
mentioned
a parking
last
attendant.
time, with the beach parking, it always was that the volunteers that we have inside the chamber would tell people that they could park. This past year, I squelched that right away, and we didn't promote it. We also sell the beach stickers. So when we're going through where the parking is, which are the prime beaches and everything, we let them know that that's, because we're not advertising that you can park there. It's just, that's, again, another education thing. And it's just gonna take a few, things, if you're used to parking there when you come on your summer vacation. And again, this may be something that we do with the rental companies, and just let them know that when you're suggesting to get your beach sticker, let the renters know that you have to buy a sticker to get onto some of the, all the beaches, but if you really are a fan favorite of Bank Street, it requires a beach sticker. So again, we're gonna be reaching out to hope that get with those companies that say, hey, just help us out. And then, again, educating everybody so that they now take the other curve.
Right, so there's not gonna be any perfect solution, right?
No.
No matter
No.
what we do, no matter
Yep.
what we come up with, however many plans we have, nothing's gonna be perfect. There's
No.
always gonna be a certain compromise that everybody's gonna have to get involved with. And I think you made some great points, even when you're going through a ton of stickers, you give out a ton of stickers.
Right.
We have the new walking map that we design every year,
Mm-hmm.
and we can put on there, you can tell them about, sorry, but your favorite beach. So they know there are some other alternatives. I mean, Red River and Bank Street are the two most popular beaches in Harwich. So we can let them know, oh geez, I didn't know about that
Right.
beach,
And a lot of times, the map that the rec has done, that we give out as well, when we're giving out the beach stickers, people can't even believe that we have 21 beaches and ponds.
Right.
And there are some great hidden jewels that, again, it's all in, I mean, I have 14 volunteers that are there from May to October, and they're the ones that are promoting, while I'm in there writing up the stickers, which are the beaches and where to go and all that kind of stuff. And I do a training every year, beginning of the season and the end of the season. So this is, again, with that point, yes, we've got, 3 or 4 prime beaches that people love, but let's keep them,
Right, the beaches, as well as having the shopping and
Exactly.
restaurant sign, it's a suggestion, addressing the buses, which we've already done that.
Yep.
And we'll continue to do that.
right,
You're gonna alleviate a lot of problems, and then come up with the employee parking
right.
solution. I mean, that's, making good strides. I think.
The freshwater beaches need a little bit more plugging. We have some lovely freshwater
We
beaches,
sure do.
Oh, yeah.
and they're underutilized. I've used them myself with my grandchildren, and they're somewhat underutilized.
And there are no jellyfish.
Or sharks. And I will speak with Eric about to make sure that our map of public beaches is up to date,
Okay,
because I know
perfect.
there were a couple
Yeah.
that said there's parking and there's really not.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I'll check with Eric and make sure that's ready for the sticker season.
Yes.
Well, let's see, we've sort of, was brought up, of course, was the, down in the back by, Anchorage, the parking down there on Schoolhouse Road. Since we have some guests here from the Anchorage, I think might take the opportunity to ask them to address, so we have a couple letters. Thank you for your letters, your responses.
You just need to be cautious, it's not on the agenda.
Right,
So it can be brought up to be put on the next agenda.
right, okay.
Not to deter people, but we have to abide
Stay on
by
the
the open
agenda.
meeting law.
Right,
And by reading the letters that I read, I think it's important that we have
yeah,
a representative from the police department
Yes.
here when we get into a deep discussion about this, because we're not gonna be able to answer any questions today, because we didn't come up with some of the things that I see in these letters.
Yeah,
Okay, that was a
Right,
previous
this-
group.
This had
I think we
nothing-
invite for the next one,
Yeah,
police and
Aaron.
fire, so
Yeah.
that they both can address, because, you know, there are, I mean, I watch it, you know, there are days that there's an ambulance or a fire truck over at the Anchorage. And, you know, we have a couple of regulars that come in for the Chronicle, that we always wonder if that's, something's happened and stuff, so we are cognizant of it for sure. And we do just, but yeah, if we have both of them here, they can say, okay, yes, we would need this to be a little more, what we could use better for that.
But the opening, is like I said, I was here today, I was surprised at the width of the no parking from the north edge of the Anchorage lot to the Mason tree.
Yes.
That's all blocked off now as no parking. And it's, there used to be, in one of these plans, in the two, one of these plans in this report right here shows a no parking and then two spots, and then no parking, and now they've eliminated the ones in the middle, which is a great idea.
The other question, having read the letters, with regard to exiting out of that lot over there, they have approximately 17 garages and approximately 16 parking spaces in the rear. The public parking, when did that lot officially open up, the small 20 spaces?
The small one, I want to say
2
2
years
years
ago.
2 years
ago.
ago?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I know they have some issues they like to address, but since we don't have you on the agenda for today, let me just throw this out to you. We're gonna put you on the agenda for next meeting. We'll have another meeting within the next 2 weeks, okay? And what I'd like to know, and I'd like somebody to address it, what's the number of occupants at the Anchorage? How many apartments do you
I think
actually
there
have?
was 32, correct? Yeah, there's 32.
Okay, because you have 8 parking spaces out front, if I counted them correctly, and they half moon. I think there's 16 if you include I think it's 4 to 5 on the fence side as you drive in the parking lot. And I think you have an additional 12 inside the rear lot itself. The thing I know you'd like to have addressed too is your entering and exiting the parking lot. So if you'd be so kind as to come back during our next meeting, we'd be more than happy to address your concerns. We may not have all the answers for you, but we'll attempt to address them.
And then, did you also want to put Mr. Cohen on the
Yes.
next agenda?
Yeah, please. Okay.
We don't know
We
yet.
don't know yet.
We're going to do that momentarily.
TBD.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Where's your, oh,
Okay, I have it on my phone.
I don't know.
Here it is. How would February 12th be? It's a Tuesday morning,
I'm away.
okay? That whole week?
No, I'm back, we come back Wednesday morning. So I'm back in town the 14th.
If I may propose this, I'd like to try to get 2 meetings in next month, if that's gonna work.
Mhm.
Because I'd like to get this addressed as, get it to the selectmen, because it's gotta be in there earlier than May. It's gonna have to be in there by at least
Sooner the better, for sure.
the first
Says
week
again,
of
no matter what we do, it's
April,
not gonna
at the
get
at the least.
As you
Go
know.
ahead.
I can do the 14th, which is a Thursday, but I have a standing meeting at 10:30. So if we could do it at 9, I don't know if that works for people on the 14th. Also, the people who were going to chat, are they available? Because we certainly want to accommodate, other folks.
Would that be
Yeah.
okay?
I can adjust to whatever you have.
Yeah, the
Okay.
14th is
14th
fine.
at
Nobody's
9
got any
o'clock?
Valentine's Day parties, right? Okay.
It's my husband's birthday the night before, so.
So the 14th is, I don't have a calendar.
It's
That's
a
a
Thursday.
Thursday.
And that's at what time?
9
9?
a.m.? What would work? Pam, what would work?
Monday or Tuesday, at any time.
Can people, you're not here the 11th, though.
No,
Right,
I'm
okay.
away the 8th to the 12th, 13th.
Okay.
So do we want to do back-to-back weeks and do?
Can we do a Friday, the
She
15th?
can't do a Friday.
Can you not do Fridays, or just Friday?
How about Thursday, the 21st?
No, she can only do Monday, Tuesdays.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, we can definitely do the 19th
Right.
at 10:30. That's a Tuesday?
Sorry, what
So
date
the
was that?
19th,
December,
no, February
December.
19th.
February.
Jeez.
February 19th at 10:30 would be the first one this month.
How about next Tuesday?
We can do next Tuesday.
So the 14th is out?
The
Yes.
14th isn't
14th
gonna
is
work. Can people do
Next Tuesday and
next
then
Tuesday?
the following.
And then the
12th.
19th.
No,
Yeah,
the
19th.
5th.
Right,
5th and the
So do
19th.
the 5th and the 19th.
right.
Would that work for everyone in the
Let's see
audience?
what the 5th is.
It's a Tuesday.
We'd have to do a quick turnaround on the agenda, but I think we can do that, Al.
Okay.
I may not have the meeting
You
minutes
may have,
done.
the problem there's gonna be, will you be able to get the PD and FD to
So I'll
commit to be, then such a short notice?
text
They may
both.
have,
Yeah.
their schedules are probably harder to juggle than ours are.
Could we
All right,
10:30
February
set?
5, what was
Yeah.
the time on that one?
10:30.
10:30.
We'll do 10:30 on both, because that's just
We
what
wanna get them
works
back again
best
and
for
all.
everybody, I think.
Okay.
Right.
Right, Mr. Chair, on that one? I said, we just wanna make sure we can get who we need, because we don't wanna have these people back again.
Right.
And
Yeah.
not be able to discuss what we wanna discuss.
So do you want me to get in touch with Norm and Chief, and then Chief Gilmet, and then let them know for the 5th?
See if they can do it on the
Okay.
5th. Good call, man.
Actually, I can do, if I can get on, email
Can you do
right
an email?
now.
All right,
I would assume that'll be Aaron from the police, right?
most likely, yeah.
Um, I think that's right.
And did we say the 19th as well?
Yes.
Yeah. So, got it.
New. Norm Clark and Dave Gilmet. I'll also copy in Dave LeBlanc and Tommy Gagnon. Right, meeting February 5th with,
Do we need a highway rep for that meeting, or do we talk to,
Actually, might be a good idea.
Chris Nick, I'm assuming?
Highway,
or Link?
yeah. To discuss,
Okay,
yeah.
questions
definitely.
about this or that or the next thing? That
Probably a good idea.
Better to have all the,
Who's in charge of that Bank Street parking? I mean, that Bank Street, the fire department?
right now it's under the, well, it's the
Master,
selectmen.
Selectmen, oh, okay. So you don't need permission from the harbor master or?
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Are you?
I guess the question there would be, and we talked about it a little bit last month, is getting an answer from, an idea from John when they're gonna be out.
Moving, right?
I can't imagine it wouldn't be early to mid-spring.
Right.
Because I'm sure he wants to get down to Zaquatucket sooner rather than later.
Are you all available to attend the ad hoc parking committee meeting on Tuesday?
We don't need to have those places go to have the line guy come and have boats be there.
Right.
Wouldn't work out well.
No, it wouldn't go too well. Old stanchions.
So we're gonna do the police and fire on the agenda for the 5th.
And highway?
Highway. We don't need fire.
It might be good to have them.
Okay.
Are you or a
Question
representative?
about access with the
Because they may send Aram.
Yep.
Please let me know ASAP.
The guy who built the condos could have put them in the ground garage there.
Yeah,
It'd
cool.
solve all the problems, you know, right next to us.
Yeah.
If you put a garage in the ground.
No, I won't.
Okay. I'm just gonna do that now, just so we have an idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
All
amount
right.
of money you're spending, why not spend an extra?
For the public, if you're not aware, you can actually sign up to get emails of when meetings are on the town website. If you go to the town website and there's a thing that says subscribe, you can sign up to be notified of any meeting that's gonna be taking place in town. You just have to sign up for each board or committee that you wanna get noticed about. So, a little bit of PR there for the town. Okay.
All right, do we have any other business which we have not
Oh,
covered?
guidelines for public input, did you wanna do,
Oh,
talk about that?
yes, let's discuss that. The issue with regard to public input, the length of time that's going to be devoted will be dependent upon the chair, which basically, what I'd like to see is be succinct and to the point when we're discussing whatever it might be. By that I mean, I don't want people to repeat themselves over and over again with exactly the same subject matter. So if one individual addresses an issue, somebody who follows is not going to address the same issue, because if they do, I will apologize, but I will stop. And what I'd like to see is try to be concise in what you're trying to get, when you're trying to get your point across to all of us. And the reason I'm looking is you folks are sitting right here. But it would be very helpful to us too, because our clerk is busily moving her fingers around over here, keeping track of everything that's being said.
Trying.
So, fair enough?
Yep,
Sounds reasonable.
All right.
and just so everybody, well, some of you are, Cindy certainly knows this, and I think Mike does too. I'm a stickler when it comes to the public open meeting laws and such, and when something starts to go astray, like we did with the Anchorage, I will weigh in and say, we're
That's-
going far afield
I
here."
appreciate that, thank
Yeah.
you.
So
Keep
that's
us out of trouble.
one of my,
Guiding lights.
I like that, I was gonna see nudgies.
Guiding light.
I like
Yeah.
guiding light, that works much better. Okay,
Motion to adjourn?
Yes, I just wanted to make sure she was.
Oh,
I'm good.
All right, motion to adjourn, all in favor?
You need a second.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say
aye.
aye.
Opposed, stay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.